Hello, welcome to my channel, another bibliophile reads. Today I'm going to do an original tag. It is the Bookish A to Z hot or not tag. In this tag, I'm going to be giving you 26 prompts, one for each letter of the alphabet, relating to something bookish. And you are going to say whether you think it's hot or it's not. Don't try to get mired down with extra long descriptions of what you think about it. Just give us a succinct and a brief description of why you think it's hot or why you think it's not. Also, a lot of these are going to have exceptions. You're going to want to say, well, it depends. I'm going to have a lot of those, but I'm just going with my gut. I'm going to say hot or I'm going to say not. So let's get this rolling. A, audiobooks. Hot. I absolutely find audiobooks indispensable in my reading life. I've been listening to them for many years. B, Bildungsroman. Dealing with a person's formative years or spiritual education, sometimes known as coming of age. I am going to say not. The lives of young people, I just don't find that fascinating. I like an adult's point of view. C, children's books. I never had children of my own, so I never got the opportunity to read to a child at night, a children's book. So I'm going to say not, just because I have no experience with them. D, digital, whether it's for your Kindle, your Kobo, or your iPad, whatever. I think digital books are hot. Again, I find them completely indispensable to my reading life. I could not live without my Kindle. E, experimental. These are books that push the edge. Maybe they're a lipogram where they're missing a letter of the alphabet. Maybe the story is told in reverse chronological order. There are many types of experimental books, and I think they're hot because they stretch my mind. F is for fantasy. I'm going to say not. I just don't get into fantasy books the way a lot of modern readers do. Like I said, there are exceptions, but for the most part, not. G is for graphic novel. I'm going to say hot. I actually have been growing to enjoy these more and more over the years. For a long time, I never read any, but about 5-6 years ago, I started picking them up. And I think they're good. I think they're great. H is for horror. Hot. I love a good horror story. There are times when authors push the envelope with the supernatural further than I would like, but still, horror books are hot. I is for inspirational. These are books to sort of may inspire you to be something or to think about something. And I think they're not. I just don't like them at all. J is for journalism. This is when the author goes out and researches and finds a story and tells you that story. And I think journalism is hot. K is for kitsch. These are books that have a popular or sentimental appeal. I sort of think of like Hallmark Hall of Fame, and they are not. Out of all these prompts, I think this is the category of books that I may dislike the most. L is for library. I love my library. It's hot. I get digital books. I get audiobooks. I even get an occasional physical book. And there are also many other services that a library may have, but libraries are hot. M is for mystery. I love a good whodunit, a good detective series, a good story where you don't know until the end what the solution is. Definitely hot. N is for nonfiction. Hot. I love a good nonfiction book. I love biographies. I love history. I love philosophy. Sometimes nonfiction can get a little dry, I do admit that, but overall, hot. O is for Omnibus, a book that is a collection of other books. Maybe it is a series based on a theme with multiple authors. Maybe the book is a collection of different stories and novels by one author. But in any case, an omnibus is hot. P is for poetry. Hot. I do like poetry. I need to get back to Poetry Thursdays and reading a poem every week because poetry is hot. Q is for quests. When the protagonist goes on a physical or spiritual quest. I'm going to say not, especially when teamed up with the fantasy genre. For some reason, I just don't particularly like heroes going out and finding a sword or a ring or whatever. Spiritual quests, yeah, I'm not going to, maybe those, but you got to pick a hot or a not. And I'm going to go with not. R is for romance. This is the story of a couple who are falling in love and maybe have issues and then get together with a happy ending. I'm going to say not. The romance is for other readers, not me. S is for science fiction. Definitely hot. I like the old classics, and I like the more modern books as well, because science fiction is a way to explore our world where you're telling items that are slightly different or exploring entirely new worlds in the future. Science fiction is hot. T is for translation. Books translated from one language into another. And that's hot. I love reading books from a culture or a language that I cannot read because the only language that I'm fluent in is English. I could possibly read a little bit of Spanish, but I could not read an adult book in Spanish. So translations are hot. U is for Übermensch. This is the Superman or extraordinary human, that character who can do everything. And I say those are not. I don't like my characters being super abled or highly skilled in everything. I like my characters flawed and gray and murky. So the Übermensch is a not. And I do admit I'm sort of stretching the definition of Übermensch here. V is for Victorian, literature from 1837 to 1901. And I think they are hot. Now, not every Victorian book is going to be great. Some of them are a little dry and a little boring and just not on a topic that I enjoy. But when you get into someone like Anthony Trollope, he has these delightful books of the Warden and Barchester Towers. They're all wonderful. So Victorian literature can definitely be hot. W is for Western. These are stories of the Old West. These are cowboys and cowgirls and gunslingers. Again, this is not a genre that I used to read a lot of until recently, but I think they're hot. I'm growing fonder and fonder of Westerns every year. X is for X-rated or erotica. Naughty stories of adults doing things that adults like to do. And I think it's hot. I especially like the naughty Westerns that I've recently discovered, the cowboy trash. Those are not only hot, they're steaming hot. And Y is for young adult. Not. I'm pushing 60, and the stories intended for young people just don't captivate me. I'm too old, so not on young adult. And Z is for zeitgeist, the spirit or mood of the times, a book that brings an era or a specific time and place to light. And I think it's hot. I like discovering different moods in different times, and I enjoyed them quite a bit. And that is the end of the hot or not tag. Just a little over 10 minutes and 26 questions. Now, in the description, I'm going to tag a whole slew of people who I think might enjoy doing this tag. Don't feel obligated, but if you do, go ahead. Thank you for watching, and keep on reading.